Oh, wait, here we go. Okay, here we go. Now we got some in. EKU Film asks, do you also often use story circles and specific questions when writing your scenes? I use your provided questions and also the story circle for nearly every scene I write now. Awesome. Yeah. So when you're thinking about story circles in your scenes, you can get like sometimes. So I love to focus on the story circles for the big story. Like, so you have your big story. So let's say you're writing a feature. You have your big whole story, right? What's going to happen in Act 1, Act 2A, Act 2B, and Act 3. Then I like to break these up into these smaller circles to say, okay, Act 1, Act 2A, Act 2B, Act 3, right? I like to break it up like that. And then from there, sometimes I'll go down to a scene level, but only if I'm specifically needing it for that scene, like if that scene isn't working. Also, what you'll notice is sometimes when you are breaking down a particular scene, you'll notice that, for example, let's say you have a story circle here, right? And this is for a scene. This is a scene story circle. What you'll have sometimes is one scene, one location, let's say, that handles this part of it. And then you might have a separate scene location that then handles this part of it, right? So you can have like this is one scene and this is one scene. Sometimes it's, one scene together, but what you'll also see is like we have a setup scene and then you have like a payoff scene where like something really changes in the next scene because of what was set up over here. There's a, man, what was that? I saw a really good example of this. It's from like Yellowstone, I believe. But yeah, I would say focus specifically using story circles at this level, right? These two levels here, your acts and your big story, you should really analyze through a story circle. But your scenes, I would say like less so, because if you're spending all of your time in your scenes, but your acts aren't working, then it doesn't matter how much time you're putting into your into your scene story circles, because it's not actually working for the story overall. Sam Rowland asks, what do I do if I don't have a complete story circle? Is it okay to leave it incomplete, or should I try to force something in the blank spots? You should try to force something in the blank spots. Now that probably sounds anti-righty or whatever, but yeah, like you need to have, so when you're trying to force something inside of the blank spots, what you're saying is you don't have an understanding of what's actually happening here and why it's valuable, right? So like you're always going to have a character. They are always going to want something. And if you're going to send that character through a full movement of change where something is changing in the story, they're always going to have an initial problem. They're always going to have an initial action based on that problem. They're always going to make some sort of progress towards what they want here at the 5, right? And have this get at some level, or, you can also think about it as a find, or a halfway progress. Then to actually create a character arc, you need this pivot here. You need 2 key problems in the story if you're going to actually create character change, right? Because we have to show a problem and then show character action and then show a new problem and then finally show new action, right? And now you can actually show how did the character act here and how is the character now acting here to then create change. So if you're missing one of these pieces, you don't have a full movement of drama. You don't have a dramatic narrative. Or you don't have a character actually going through an arc of change, and therefore it makes it way harder for you to actually say something of value in your story.